Hello viewers, I'm SB and welcome back to Endless Legend, where we are... certainly, things are coming to a head. We are in some trouble here. So let's talk about how much time we have left. If we go over here to the status screen, you can see this turn, Blue completed the second of their scientific victory techs. Now, based on our pace of research in the game where we were going for the science victory, that would suggest that we were getting like 5 or 6 turns per victory tech after finishing the difference engine. So that would suggest that we have like 15 to 18 turns left. But first of all, you have to remember that the AI has a bunch of free stuff and may be researching considerably faster than we were. Although actually it looks like they're going quite a bit slower. We were north of 10k at that point, weren't we? So they might be going slower than we are. And also you have to remember that the AI doesn't, at least in my experience, and granted, almost all of my experience is pre-community patch. In my experience, the AI does not research all 5 of the victory techs right in a row, so we might even have more time than that, because they might do some weird AI stuff. Is it possible for us to win the game in that window? I don't think so. I think the answer to that question is no. But who knows? We're going to go for it, and if Blue wants to screw up in such a way that we're able to sneak in a victory, then I will take it. Listen, if it says my name on that screen at the end, I'm the one who won, even if it didn't necessarily have to be that way. So we are at 22% of the economic victory. To remind you, 666,600 dust earned since the beginning of the game. We are producing 13k per turn, which puts us at roughly 2% gain per turn. This is a much better rate of gain than we were seeing previously, still far, far too low. If we are actually talking about, let's say, 18-ish turns to win the game, we're gonna have to like double the amount of dust we're producing, or more. It's got to go up, way up. I don't think we can win, but we're gonna try. We're gonna keep pushing. So I don't think we have anything else to do this turn. We are at 4,000 dust, or 4,000 influence, with 900 influence coming in per turn, and an ideal Empire plan cost of 5720. So we're just barely gonna make it over. This isn't ideal. Ideal would be let's get tier 4 on all of them, but you know, this is the reasonable one that we're aiming for. We have to get some of these town criers finished. That's a big deal. We just got improved dust alchemy, which means we need to build the improved dust alchemy buildings. We're getting Imperial News Network now, and after we get Imperial News Network, we can try sprinting into the final era. Honestly, I'd be very surprised if it worked. We should finish Enlightened Trade, because +1 trade routes per city is a big deal. What is this? Is this somebody Cold Warring me? Okay, whatever. We have a new common friend. That is lovely. So, Cold War time. Okay. Armies now regenerate health as they should. I'm not sure how that will affect our game. Keep in mind, Blue is at war with 2 other players. So it is possible that that Blue's progress toward the science victory will be slowed down by like losing territory. That might happen. We don't really have any idea how that war is going. You need to keep working toward Inspirational Leader. We're starting to pick up Inspirational Leader on a lot of heroes, which is nice. Showing 19k dust per turn right now. 3128 of it from trade routes. Ah, those trade routes with red kicked in. Yeah, we're able to make some good trade with red. It looks like... Was this green last turn? It might have been, because it's on green's continent. That suggests that the green is not doing super well in this war. Ah, well. Alright, so we have those good trade routes with red. We finished the Benevolent Emperor upgrade on every city. Dust Revitalizer is huge, although I think not as big as Town Criers anywhere, so we're still going to be very Town Criers focused. I think I'm going to just rush as many of these as we can rush. $29.99 is a pretty reasonable cost. Where else do we have those going? I'm more concerned with getting all of these done than I am with getting more of them started, you know? So we might be able to make it to here. Let's see, what do we have to sell? We have blood crystal. Oof. Blood crystal not actually valuable at all. That's the only one we're not actually using, right? So probably the thing we do now is we just buy... We buy more mithrite and stuff, and we keep starting new town criers everywhere. So... Paul definitely needs one. Oh, we need glass steel, that's right. There's not a ton of glass steel in the world. Environmental depletion. It's a serious problem. By the way, I don't know how closely anybody who's listening to this pays attention to Civilization news, but they announced a new expansion for Civ 6 that is very focused on, like, the world as part of the game, and things like global warming over time due to fossil fuel burning and stuff. I'm very interested to see what that does to that game. I think that the core of Civ 6 is really strong at this point. I think that the core game of Civ 6 is better than the core game of Civ 5, but it needs more stuff to vary up the experience. I still find that games of Civ 6 are too similar to one another, and so something like that, with more like weather effects and more things that might cause you to change up your research paths and stuff, I think will help the game tremendously. Alright, so do we need... We're not going to be able to make enough money to start anything else up this turn. Yeah, I guess our turns are pretty simple right now. Precious wealth is not a thing I can actually get, right? Yeah. I went to this ruin instead of that ruin before remembering that we had a quest on that ruin already, which is making it unreasonable for us to to move there. So when we finish Enlightened Trade, we're going to still need 5 more techs to be able to start in on Dust-Driven Distillery. We'll just take the 5 cheapest techs that are available, but still, that's a lot of time. We're not going to finish the Endless Tech, probably. Not in time. We are still seeing our rate of dust income shoot up sharply. 25% extra dust on cities, and we didn't have this bonus either last time, so this is going to be quite a bit of extra dust as well. We're seeing lots of level ups due to buying lots and lots of high tier buildings. Where are we at on winter? 3 to 15 turns. Okay, I'll take a point of cold operator here. I would definitely take inspirational leader instead were it available, but it is not. That might actually matter. Syria Alastra. Probably we ought to grab Cold Operator. I think that's going to have more of an effect than Black Marketeer. Black Marketeer will make it easier will make it so that her city can trade with Blue, which it currently can't do. Does Blue have cargo docks? Blue does have cargo docks. That might actually be some real money. But winter's going to suck. Yeah, I'm gonna take this. We're gonna hope. We're gonna hope that that's a better play. You should definitely get the last point of Inspirational Leader. That is the single most important possible point in your skill tree. And you are also headed in that general direction. Okay, 21k per turn. We are really getting in that direction. Alright, let's, is there enough glass steel on the market? There is not enough glass steel on the market to make another one of those happen. So, we get to talk about other players. Who would like to trade me some glass steel? Maybe one of our friends. Quote-unquote friends. Wow, that's a lot of glass steel. What could I give you in exchange for that? Boy, they really are. Okay. Well, we'll talk about it next turn when I have some influence, and then we're probably going to want to move people off of influence generation, right? We have a city that's doing that, don't we? We have 2 cities that are doing that. Yeah, those people need to go back to dust. So, we don't have the resources to start up town criers anywhere. The dust revitalizer is also made with a ton of glass steel. So what can we build in these cities that will actually matter? We can just build military units who can sit in the cities and generate XP for the governors. which I think might be the only reasonable thing left. It's not awesome, but some of these cities literally just like don't have anything to build that is of any use at all. Okay, let's see here. Fortunately, some of our cities still have boroughs that they can build. Some of our cities can still be pushed forward with titanium instead. Buy ourselves some titanium. The Imperial funding running. What do we need here? The only thing of value here is stuff that's made out of glass steel. Okay, so we're going to have to wait a turn. Alright, and now we have 14k dust left over, so we obviously should not... That should not be the case when we hit end turn. Go ahead and buy stuff out. I mean, if we end the turn with a significant bank, and then use some of that dust to trade for glass steel, that's not necessarily the worst thing in the world. We definitely should not... I'm not going to rush any of these troops that we're building, but I will rush everything else that we're currently building, I guess. We're getting pretty close to having enough pearls to do something. Like, when winter falls, we'll be able to get the Abbey of Anomalies and build around our wonder, and, like, we have a lot of places where we can take advantage of an Abbey of Anomalies. Hopefully that will matter. Alright, so Syria Elastra is the governor of Hellcrest. When the new turn begins, we're going to jump into our trade route menu and see where Hellcrest's trade routes are going to. See if trade with blue actually was worth picking up. Or the ability to trade with anyone, I should say, but it will mean blue, because blue stuff is farthest away from us. Alright, 26k dust per turn. 27. It's a pretty good start. Also, we ran out of a bunch of boosters. We're going to have to fix that in a moment. Make sure everybody... Oh, you definitely get that sweet, sweet dust trickery. Feeds on Bones over here is now the most inspirational necrophage in the history of necrophagery. Definitely think Inspirational Leader is better than Cold Operator. Wait, what? I clicked on the ruin. What are you doing? Because it doesn't really matter, because moving into the ruin is the last move that unit gets to make anyway, but it's weird that they went around like that. Okay, Enlightened Trade is only a single turn away, and then when we finish that, like I said, we need to probably just take the 4 cheapest techs so that we can move into the final era, unless there's anything in, like, Era 2 that would be really meaningful. I suppose Hydrology, the canal system doesn't cost any strategics, so that's kind of interesting. Minor Faction Assimilation slot could be meaningful. None of this stuff can be meaningful, so we'll just grab, I don't know, the design for the Kasai, which is a fine unit. Didn't really factor into our gameplay at all here. Alright, so let's talk about strategics. Obviously, we need to be running the gold again. Gold is pretty much a no-brainer. Ooh, look at all that Dust Orchid. We're not currently running Dust Orchid. Somebody is selling enough Dust Orchid that it actually matters. Okay, that's a big deal. Dust Orchid is 20% dust output. And it put us back to Fervent, which is nice. And then we should be running a gold booster. There's absolutely no reason not to be. Our Titan Bone booster ended. It's less crucial. We're still running Hydromiel, right? Yeah, we're still running all of the actual dust stuff. So we don't need wine. Quicksilver doesn't do anything except give approval. A lot of these... Oh, the Moonleaf. The Moonleaf was the other thing that ended, right? I actually care about the Moonleaf a lot. Let's keep that running. And then, I guess, like, what is the Titan Bone booster going to cost us to run? It's going to cost me, like, less than 300 dust. Sure, get that going. We're at 100%. Okay. Let's talk to some people about some stuff. Actually, let's talk to the marketplace. Nope, only 12 glass steel. Alright, let's talk to some people about the acquisition of some glass steel. So, we saw that Red had quite a bit. How much do you have right now? None. They actually have 0 glass. Hold on. Really? Yes, really. They really don't have any glass steel. Okay, well, would you like a commercial agreement? I have feelings about the fact that we are now massive trade partners. Here, highway outposts. More trade routes. Consider making more trade routes. I said I was going to jump into our... Let's see here. So Hellcrest is actually trading with green. Which is weird. If trading with green is right, then all of us should be trading with green. Oh, green cold warred me. That's right. Oh, so hold on. Green must have gotten their capital unblockaded. Well, that's very interesting then. Also, they really wanted peace with me, which makes it kind of strange that they we made a common friend, and they really love me and want peace with me. So they cold warred me, and then eagerly took peace back when it was offered. Sometimes I do not understand what is going on with the AI in this game. Okay, they're actually pretty cool on peace too. I don't have a lot of glass steel, but this should happen, right? We should do peace, and I'll give you a little bit of Hyperium. I certainly don't need all my Hyperium. That seems fine. Okay, peace with everybody. Potential trade routes with everybody, which means that no, Syria Lastra's skill point was not meaningful. I kind of assumed that we would not be able to get peace with blue, because we tried not that long ago, and they were not into it. Do you have glass steel? You have some. You have none. You have... Okay, nobody has a lot. What would it take for me to get this away from you? Some big, big techs. You know, I'm fine with it, honestly. Like, we need it really badly. And then I'm going to go to the market and purchase a little bit more. Hey, you know what? I may as well just buy all of it. Okay, so that gives us... Oh, we're going to need 20 mithrite from the market as well. Alright, that gives us enough to make 2 more town criers. So, let's go down the list. Okay, this city has town criers already. We could build a dust revitalizer here. It's probably better to build town criers everywhere, right? Because it's plus 40% dust on the city in addition to the flat boost. But Hellcrest has a lot of territory. I think it's probably better to get the town criers built everywhere. So let's work on that right now. Where don't we have town criers? Okay, that's good. That's a big help there. Then we have a bunch of cities that have no build order that probably can't build anything meaningful because of the situation right now with the world's resources. So let's just keep building out new tiles. You know, I've been building to continue maximizing level so that we're getting as much dust and influence out of each tile as possible, but I am noticing that this does not get us any new dust. Well, I guess that doesn't get us much new dust. Yeah, this is fine. In theory, at some point, we would get a dust revitalizer here, and then it would matter how much dust we're producing from or how many tiles we have that are dust producing. But honestly, that's feeling like it's really far away. And then it's hard to imagine that it is right to do anything other than, like, get this stuff done as quickly as possible. And I think we can probably, like I said, we can probably pull the 2 cities that are producing influence back over to dust. I'll find the other one in a minute. I don't want to build a chapel, I don't think. It's 2 extra population. Yeah, I don't think the 2 population's worth it. But we could build an alchemy lab here, so we probably should. Over beginning to build a troop. Enlightened Trade is, unfortunately, the scientific envoy is unfortunately made out of titanium. So we're going to have a limited number of those as well. We need to figure out how to synthesize titanium. Yeah, I guess just keep leveling stuff up. Leveling stuff up is valuable. You know, I don't know if heroes currently receive XP. Like, their XP per turn is just based... The passive XP per turn for a governor is just based on the contents of a garrison. But it kind of seems to me like having leveled up districts in your cities should do a little bit more. Because at the point in the game where you really can level up districts a lot, it starts to become less important to do so, because your approval can be fixed by just buying a ton of luxuries. I kind of wish that, like, leveling up your districts maybe provided more XP for your governor, or maybe there's a tech you can research that makes it do that, or just so that there's a little bit more incentive. And then we just have 11,000 dust that I'm sitting on, maybe to use as trade fodder next turn or something. Also, just out of curiosity, they have not finished the third victory tech yet, so that's something. And we're at 32k dust per turn right now. And that's prior to us now having peace with every player. And so a recalculation of trade routes, like, we're going to see that number go up. I think people have a little bit more titanium laying around than glass steel, so we might be able to make some trades to get enlightened envoys going in a lot of places. Let's hope so. It does bother me a small amount that we will never know whether, if we do manage to pull off a win here, we will never know whether it was because Blue couldn't win the game before us or whether they just didn't. Alright, Pink immediately Cold Wars me, which is, like, annoying, but not probably actually affecting very much. So trade routes with Green and Blue. Lots and lots and lots of trade. 7,000 dust from trade. That said, like, can we get back to peace with Pink? Yes, and in fact, they like that idea, and they would be willing to give me something for it. Alright, I will take your 4 glass steel. Remember, influence probably has no more value for us in any other way, because it's very unlikely that we will see another empire plan. So right now, the value of influence is purely that it allows us to trade. Alright, well, we may as well make the city immune to winter, since we don't, I think, get any other value out of skill points on him anymore. Boy, we sure are accumulating skill on our governors quickly. This is pretty great, actually. Okay, you're still not quite there. Next level. Next level, you get to put a point in that. Okay, so first let's have a look at the titanium market. It is not exactly flooded, but let's buy all the titanium. I have very little else to do with my dust. Then, let's talk to our trade partners. Blue is mocking me. How dare they? Okay, they have some glass, steel, and titanium. We could, you take all this stuff. And you know what? Actually, trading tech to Blue is good for us, because it increases the cost of their technologies. They're already in the final era, so we're not benefiting them in any way by trading them things that don't give them science. Really, they don't have rare metal foundry. Huh. They don't have imperial funding. This is crazy. Okay, let's trade them like, buyout reduction? Language square? I'm just trying to think, like, we want to trade them the largest number of techs possible, because that will increase the cost of their techs by the most. I'm pretty sure this will actually work the way I want it to. We could get tech back from them, maybe? To accelerate our move into the next era? I wasn't really thinking about that, but yeah, like, we should definitely be doing that where we can. They took Serum of Eteru and Endless Alloys first. That's part of the reason they're not looking super high on science. They didn't go difference engine. That's really interesting. Well, we could maybe make this work. Like, what if I give you this, and then I get that from you, you get this from me. Looks like they're willing to give up alchemical alloys for pretty cheap. You give them highway outposts. Okay, the cost of that deal is too high, but it's very attractive. Hold on, how many techs do I actually need? I'm going to finish hydrology. And then we need, beyond that, 4 more. This would give me... Yeah, man. Oh. Commercial agreement. Research agreement's not necessary. But so, like... 1206. If we removed a couple of texts from this, I can make this still work. We can take the cheaper version of this. Give them something else, but not something good. Okay, I'm willing to do this. Since we're running trade routes to them, we should have a commercial agreement with them. It won't do anything immediately, but over time it will buff up the amount of dust we're making off of their trade routes. They give me all this stuff. We give them some tax to spike the cost of their technology, which is a silly way to do things, but hey, it's the mechanics, right? And then we don't have enough influence to get a big trade out of anybody else, but out of curiosity, like, would you be willing to part with some titanium or glass steel for relatively cheap? Like, if we did this, and then I can't... Oh, I can give you a tech? No, I can't give you a tech. I give you some dust. I don't really want to give you... That looks like about 37,000 dust to me. Not sure if I want to do that. Hold on, I'll be back. The thing is, we do need 7 more glass steel pretty badly. But, you know what, we could... We can't get the mithrite together anyway. Yeah, alright, let's worry about that later. So for right now, what we want to do is... I guess we want to find the cities that have the most valuable trade routes and run more... Make sure we get the enlightened envoys there first. Not super easy to sort the table that way. Okay. So Hellcrast. Hellcrast should be the first one to get it. Hellcrast, Chadun, Gogthal, Sondir. I guess I don't have to move that to the top. I'm buying it out. Hellcrast, Chadun, Sondir. Part of the problem here is that I don't actually know that more trade routes out of these cities will necessarily be as valuable, right? Here, we'll do it out of here as well. So we are still gaining money, gaining output very, very quickly. Was I building out to something? Oh, I already built out to it over here. So then just level up my districts, I guess? We can build out toward this. Frozen grass has a little bit of food. Well, there's an awful lot of science to be had no matter which way we branch out. Because this city has its imperial funding already. We do actually have to care about approval. Like a little bit at least. You know what? 10%, a 10% loss is not good. And we'll just build this here, whatever. It doesn't really make a huge difference. I gotta not get too bogged down in minutia. Alright, and we should be buying these out. We should have burrows coming out as quickly as they possibly can. What am I going to build in Melantor? We have nothing of value, so I guess just put a dervish in. The remotoscope doesn't actually help us in any way. Like, we could build really good watchtowers, but having a dervish... I guess having the dervish has the upside of increasing the rate of XP gain on the hero, and the downside of increasing our military upkeep. So maybe I would rather have the remotoscope, because honestly, the XP on the hero is pretty unlikely to make a big difference. It's the only thing that we can build that has any benefit at all, but it also has a detriment that is maybe large enough to outdo the benefit. Really hard to say, actually. Get me some vision. Things that don't matter. Okay, speaking of things that don't matter, I guess you can come over here and see if these pearls are actually still over here. It would be cool to take them. How is Blue's war effort going? It looks like Blue's pushing Pink out of a lot of the fortresses. Pink's having a tough time holding on to the water. I'm kind of glad I didn't get too involved in that stuff. Seems like it can be very distracting. Alright, so 43k dust per turn. Oh no, the number didn't go up. We kind of need that number to keep going up. And this is what? This is 7%-ish per turn? In the neighborhood of 7% victory per turn? Have a quick look. Well, hold on. We should wait until the turn actually properly begins, because the charts don't always update correctly. Yeah, winter immunity sounds like a good idea. That winter is coming closer and closer. It does seem to me like the dust value shouldn't be falling. Okay, I think what happened here is that Green lost a bunch of their ability to trade with us again. You notice Hellcrast is trading with Davenor, not Green's capital. So I think every time Blue sieges Green's capital, we lose money, basically. That's rough. That's a rough thing. I was expecting our money making to go up, given that we, had more trade routes. Not quite the case. Nobody's selling any titanium or glass steel. Well, we have some influence again. I guess we'll trade for it. So 3 techs plus the end of this turn. Let's see who's willing to do some tech trading. Tech trading does get expensive. Over the course of the game, the more you trade techs, the more it costs, I believe, as an Endless Legend community patch thing. Do you have... Oh, you have titanium. Oh, you have so much titanium. It's beautiful. Don't have any Hyperion. Okay. That's fine. We are Mithrite, rather. We don't need that much Mithrite, because we're not going to be able to build... We don't have the glass steel to build too many things with it. Alright, so let's say I wanted some cheap technology from you. Trying not to give them anything that increases their science output. They get another cheap tech in exchange for a central market, which I... Oh, never mind. I can't actually pay that. Well... Actually, give me another cheap tech, so we're 90 cost, we're 90 influence below what we can actually afford to pay. I can just pay them off with dust for the rest of it. I don't know how much dust that is. 1, 2, 3, is it 20,000? It's way less. I think this is a deal worth making. Somehow my dust per turn went down when I did that. It's a strange and fickle number. So we're going to finish Search Party, and then we need one more research after that, which will be done pretty quickly. So hopefully we're going to hit... What's my research per turn? 9,300. Wait. 9,300. Yes, that does indeed put me in the same neighborhood as Blue. Weird. Well, maybe we will get that Endless Tech after all. So we can afford to do Scientific Envoy in one more spot, and then if we can get 7 Mithrite, we can't. Let's just buy this. If we can get some more Mithrite, we can do some other stuff. Actually, is Town Crier 7 Mithrite, or is it 10 or 5? Okay, it is 10. I am remembering correctly. The dust revitalizer is 35. This is 2510. Well, we probably cannot, with 48 influence, get any more glass off anybody else, so we're just going to have to wait. Miranlar can get Scientific Envoy, I suppose, and then... kind of don't... I'm a little nervous about spending titanium on anything else. So at this point, sure, canal system, I guess. Now that we have the ability to build canal systems, we should probably have one everywhere. I imagine that's going to be only a single turn worth of building everywhere. May as well rush the Imperial funding. I should have rushed the Imperial funding before this. There's no reason that city should not have completed Imperial funding. Sure, get that done. Who knows? This might actually be functional for up to 12 turns. Which is until the end of the game, to be fair. It's like actually maybe meaningful. Okay, so... oh, you know what? I'm thinking... yes, I did totally forget to do this. Hey, you guys, get over here. 40k per turn. It's okay. It's an alright amount of... oh, hey, those pearls are still there. Weird. I'll take those for sure. So, now, let's talk about our observed rate of victory progress. Blue is still not on Tech 3. We are at 41% of our economic goal here. And we're moving up quickly. We're somewhere between 6 and 7% per turn. Unfortunately, that still means we need 10 more turns at this rate. You know what? That's actually extremely doable. If they're not even at 60% on the scientific victory yet, 10 turns is totally doable. We still might win. Also, I now have this. We should probably assimilate something next turn. Silix. Yeah, Silix. That'll help a lot with the titanium and glass steel parts of our empire problems. Oh, Avrama is not building anything. It will not help with the lack of mithrite, unfortunately, but still good. Yeah, you know what? Maybe we are going to pull this off. I still think it's entirely possible that Blue could have beaten us from the beginning of this episode, but it seems like they may not be trying. I will say it's a big mistake if you're thinking about a science victory to not go difference engine first, which makes me think that they must have been thinking they were going to go military. Because they picked up Serum of Iteru first. See, they're slowly conquering the ocean. Not even slowly, actually really quickly conquering the ocean. The Red Sang has run out. I would actually really love it if there was more Red Sang. Can we please make that happen? That's the wrong here. Here we go. During the early part of the turn where the AI is all doing stuff at the same time, still seeing some pretty bad chugging here on my computer. Okay. Our other options are combat stats, which are all irrelevant, 5 points of approval, which I don't think is worth taking, or 5% food. Yep, okay. That's fixed. Feeds on bones, gets to get even more inspirational. Yeah, cultist heroes are just so good for all of the internal victory types. Alright, let's talk to... well, first of all, let's talk to the market. Okay. Not a lot of stuff of value to buy. Then we have 635 influence left. Let's have a chat with some of the other players. I need resources really badly. 3 mithrite is not enough to solve my problems, but holy crap, 33 titanium. Can we make this go? We're close enough to victory now that I'm no longer afraid to trade them tech that helps with their science problems. We don't need tech from them. I can just take all their Hyperium here. I could take some of their dust. I'm pretty sure that... Oh, I could take all their pearls. Actually, yeah. I'm down with that. Let's do this. Okay, so now we have enough titanium to run a couple more Enlightened Envoys, and if we can just get 2 Mithrite off somebody else, we can maybe make some other stuff happen here. So I would love all of your Mithrite and your titanium and your glass steel, please. We're not going to be able to make that happen. I don't really have that much influence anymore. Okay, so we're going to have to really, really shell out for this Mithrite, but it's the only way to get it. Boy, they are asking the moon. I need it, though. So it doesn't really help me that much to get more glass steel, but I would love all this titanium. Or rather, I would love 5 of this titanium, because that's all we can actually make use of. What are we talking about there? Yeah, that's a lot of dust. I mean, I have it. Oh, I actually can't even make this deal. Okay, let's just buy the Mithrite. 32 is too low. 33 is too low. There we go. Just right. Just about 7,000 dust per Mithrite, you know? Well... works fine for me. If green uses all that money to buy troops to fight blue, that's actually, like, great for us. So, I'll take it. Okay. Where is the next... That's not the button I want. Here we go. The next highest dust output city that does not yet have town criers. We're actually almost done with it. Okay, and then, I suppose... this is also an okay way to figure out where we should build Enlightened Envoys. Or Scientific Envoys, rather. We don't really need science output anymore, so I'm not too worried anymore about the actual science buildings. The Envoy matters because it gives us an extra trade route out of the city that we build it in, and that is all. And then I suppose we have to go through here and actually build stuff in all of these places. Lumber mills cost titanium, so that is off the table. We just need to build some stuff to buy time, basically. You are allowed to just pass without queuing anything up. And actually, I'm wondering if that might be the right thing to do in cities where we would otherwise have to build units. I don't know. Like, what is the actual upkeep cost of this unit? 5 dust? Yeah, it doesn't matter. We're talking about a lot of numbers that are too small to matter. 5 dust per turn in exchange for 1 XP per turn. Like, honestly, if that results in us having 1 extra skill point a little bit earlier, that probably is worth paying for. Yeah, this is all sort of irrelevant. Those are very, very edge cases here. This, however, is absolutely worth building. Anywhere that we can still make burrows. Anywhere that I somehow have not maxed out our burrows. We should fix that. But also, I don't care about this enough to actually, like, spend dust on it. And dust is valuable as a trading resource. It is also the case, I suppose, that buying out troops does contribute to the XP of our heroes in that, like, they're completing builds, but again, probably not enough for it to actually matter. I think. Probably not enough for it to actually matter. All right, we're back up to 42k dust per turn. When winter hits, it is going to hurt. So I'm hoping we can get as long of a summer as possible here. Well, never mind. There's that winter I was talking about. Back down to 34k, so now under 6% of the victory per turn. still not a big deal. Alright, so the winter effect here was borders are temporarily opened. Doesn't really factor into things at all. They want Mithrite from me. I will not do that. I'm going to be honest with you, didn't read the rest of the deal. Okay, how much dye do we have? We could use 12 more dye. You know, I wonder how we're doing on diplomatic points. Okay, so your city is immune. Yeah, more resources is probably better than more dust, but like very, very small amounts of dust. Dust Diviner is interesting because it's at least like we're over. Every one of our cities is extended over quite a large area at this point, so. He's in Sayagor. What is in this region? Well, there is a glass steel extractor. Yeah, okay. Good enough for me. Get me more resources. Okay, John Port has another 15% dust he could be pushing out. Hooray! So inspirational! Alright, that's not the button I wanted. This is the button I wanted. So, turn 105 entry into the final era. It looks like Dust-Driven Distillery is not going to finish before the game ends. That's fine. Alright, we are going to be able to pick up some new pearls. So let's have some of our units pop out of the cities and grab us pearls. This is all pretty marginal stuff. Like, in the sense that it may not even take a single turn off of our victory pace. So I suppose you could say that this is not worth my time to do. But hey, what do you know about my time? I would argue my time is valueless. Alright, yeah, let's pick up Abbey of Anomalies. We definitely have some places where we could build those, and they would be pretty good. Is this... Hold on. What is the actual... Yeah, okay. It's pretty marginal in either location, actually. And we just need it as a place to help us level up the reliquary. Unfortunately, we're now 113 turns away from enough food to build a burrow. So we still would need that to level up that reliquary. Unfortunate. Where is another place where there are units? Actually, there are not a lot of other units. You can still build burrows, so do that, please. But yeah, I think we've done it. I think we're out. I think we got it. It's kind of silly that it worked. And a lot of it has to do with the fact that we didn't have to play portions of the game. Like, getting to start on your own landmass is crazy powerful as roving clans. It would be really frustrating with certain factions, but it's pretty good with roving clans. I don't know, build me a Kasai. Probably the best thing to do is just hit end turn a bunch of times, but let's see here. We're at 36% of the way to the diplomatic victory. Actually, kind of tearing it up. And blue still does not have their third victory tech. They're not actually a victory threat, it turns out, if they did without difference engine. I couldn't conceive of them having gotten to 2 victory techs without having difference engine. Noticing our dust per turn went down quite a bit. Oh, you know what? The dust water booster might run out. Might have run out. That might be what happened there. Because we've been riding that for a long time. Okay, yep. Reactivate the hydromiel, and then let's get 60 dust water off the market, which I imagine is, yeah, not a problem at all. Notice that no new dust orchid has shown up. I wonder if all the dust orchid in this game actually did just come from quest rewards. Definitely get me more inspirational leader. Everybody just continue to inspire. That's pretty great. Oh, the sea monster showed up. Buddy, you gotta get to the party before turn 106. Nobody's gonna care about you on turn 106. Okay, so every 10 pearls we get at this point is 1 Abbey of Anomalies that we can build, and that is pretty significant, I think. Obviously, districts are powerful. Oh, also there are ruins up here that I haven't searched since we got Endless Mechanisms, apparently. Weird. Alright, there's no mithrite on the market, so we could try to trade for some mithrite. If we can get 2 mithrite away from somebody, we can build another dust building. Oh, you have 43 mithrite now. Why? How did that happen? Can I... Yeah, okay, we can use dust. It looks like maybe like 70,000? But honestly, we're kind of running out of things to do with our dust. Things that matter, anyway. 68? Seems like split the difference there? Okay. 68,000 dust, and one of the best techs in the game for 43 mithrite. That's so much mithrite, though. We'll never have to buy mithrite again. Okay, what is the city that is over the largest area? It's Hellcrest, maybe? Hellcrest is certainly a competitor. Mapal is also pretty big. Just trying to figure out where we want to build this, this dust revitalizer. It's certainly not bad here. Yeah, we'll do it here. I'm not going to try to optimize this too much because, again, we're probably not talking about a whole turn's worth of difference. Yeah, that's a fine thing to do. Who else needs orders? You could try to build a Throne of Emperors. That seems like a terrible waste of mithrite. Okay, most of our cities have a thing that is building for a long enough time in them that, well, maybe not most, but many of them have a thing that's building for long enough that we may not have to look at them again. We're pretty close now. 39k. Also, winter could end at any moment. If winter ends, we're in really great shape dust-wise. Although, honestly, we're not losing that much dust to the winter anymore. We have quite a few cities with Cold Operator, and then also the vast majority of our dust is coming from sources that are not touched by winter. Syria Alastra gets, oh yeah, more value from trade routes. Hey, that's a pretty good skill. Turns out I did not defeat the sea monster. Who would have thought Blue was the one who was able to defeat the sea monster first? So... do we actually still need a scientific envoy anywhere? We might be good on those. What on earth is the shape of this city? I don't know. That's an oddly shaped city. Oh, we do have the resources to build Imperial News Network in a couple of places now, instead of going for revitalizers. Because the glass steel cost on this is relatively low. It's a weird problem to have. That particular bottleneck. Okay, you just build something. How about you just build something? Then we'll grab some pearls or whatever. Yeah, I think we're in shape to win in the 110s, which is a good pace, right? We're at 65% now, gaining again like 6 to 7% per turn, somewhere between 6 and 7. So we're looking at probably another 6 turns or something. We're actually already making a really significant dent in the pearl deposits. So that was enough pearls that we can build an Abbey of Anomalies in one more city. Should probably be Therat. It has lots and lots of anomalies. To be clear, the benefit from the Abbey of Anomalies does only affect the one tile that you build it on. But we have a nice choice here. It looks like they're mostly science-focused, though. Not a lot of dust from the anomalies in this region. Yeah, fortunately, we're bringing in grass silk at a rate where we definitely will never be without it ever again. Keep bringing in that glass steel. Yeah, you know what? Actually, this is a good place to build it, too, because we have... the output of this city is considerable. And over here... Yeah, over here we're just, like, hard out of good stuff to build. But there's some pretty good output there. It's not like it needs anything more. I'll be honest with you, I was kind of hoping for a really, really late lust for loot. So we're at 3 pearls. Yeah, we're probably not going to get to another... No, we'll totally get to one more Abbey of Anomalies. And at this point, our turns are probably not the time bottleneck. The AI does need time to play their turns out. They don't actually get to do all their stuff instantly. So, as long as we keep our turns down to a reasonable amount of time, running around and getting pearls probably isn't actually slowing the game down. We gotta wait for the AI to finish playing out. We might be able to get one more turn. If I went ahead and made sure that we had the good buildings everywhere, we might be able to get one more turn off of our turn timer. So this will be... Okay, that's a notification to the other players that I am winning. In response to which Blue has declared Cold War. Well, here's the thing about that. I don't think you actually want Cold War. I think you want the search party technology. I think that's all that was about. Oh, look, I was right. They were just so mad that they didn't have search party yet. I mean, I get it. That's the kind of thing that can drive a person crazy. Yep, just get pearls. So we're at 13 now. Actually, we're probably going to be able to do 2 more abbeys, aren't we? Huh, isn't this where I had right-clicked? Whatever. It's fine. They'll get to it. Okay, so here in Sagor, we are definitely out of stuff to build. But... I should, What am I doing? Cities. Cities is what I wanted. We should go to our... Actually, we should probably sort by population for this one. Sort by population to make sure that we have Imperial News Network in the best possible cities, because we do have the resources to make a couple more of those happen. And then, just a straight dust sort. Scientific envoy is not actually up everywhere. We should keep pushing. So 24,000 dust coming in per turn has to do with Blue cold warring us and, you know, the trade route values getting zeroed out. It'll be fine. It'll be fine in a second here when the new turn starts and it recalculates our trade routes. It does suck, though, that they can screw with your dust that much by just making a very temporary change in diplomatic status. So Blue's actually making a lot of land up here. They haven't pushed into any of Pink's territory. Who knows if Pink's even still at war with them? I've kind of stopped paying attention. But we probably are not in any danger of a sudden expansion victory. No, the expansion victory requires a huge amount of territory. Possibly too much, honestly. yes, they're nowhere near that. They would probably have to wipe out every other player in the game. It'd probably have to be just them and me for them to get that. And yeah, you can see what I'm talking about here. We're still waiting on the AI to play their turn out, because they got to do battles and stuff. All this dust, and nothing to do with it, really. We could fill all of our cities completely with units, but like the bonuses that we would get on our heroes from that are like hardly even worthwhile, because we're already kind of maxed out on all of the skills that matter. There's just not a lot to do that actually means anything right now, except sit here and watch the number go up. Please stop doing that. I did notice... Oh, you know what? Exit the Chosen could use a little bit more XP, I suppose. I did notice, by the way, that there's a new version of the Endless Legend community patch out, which we will be updating to after this game, and it has some... Oh, hey. I need one of those. It has some fixes for some of the weirder AI behaviors, so I'm very eager to see if they manage to rein in stuff like, I'm declaring Cold War even though I want us to be at peace. I gotta say, I talk about the quality of the AI and places where I feel like it's doing things that don't really make sense, and failure's a strong word, but, you know, places where the AI is not doing what it probably ought to be doing. But man... the process of making AI work in a game that is as complex as this has to be just the scale of that project be like mind-boggling. And we can mod the AI and mess with it now, but like building it from scratch, the starting part of that process must be incredibly difficult. So we're seeing 41k right now. It's not going to go up too much more, right? We still have lots of buildings we could build to help out. Like we don't have dust revitalizers almost anywhere, but we just can't. There aren't enough resources in the world to make that stuff actually buildable. I do kind of wonder. Like, how many of these really high-tier buildings does the AI end up getting? Because it seems like they very often don't pick up the powerful endgame techs. I wonder if part of that is them going, well, that tech makes a building out of mithrite, and I don't have any mithrite, and there isn't any mithrite, so probably I shouldn't bother. So that probably factors into their decision-making somewhere, right? They gotta decide how to pick the text somehow. Boy, you just have, like, nothing of value to take anymore. Even more trade route output for Syria Lastra. Sure, your city can become immune to winter. Why not? Alright, so a bunch of our boosters ended at the same time. Unfortunately, the Dust Orchid is probably not runnable again. Yeah, it seems like Dust Orchid's not actually hitting the market. We should rerun the Moonleaf, I suppose. It matters. It sort of matters. Let's rerun the Moonleaf. We definitely want to run... there we go. Definitely want to run Gold again. What else did we lose? Titan Bones. Titan Bones I'm a lot less concerned about. Yeah, we can't rerun the Dust Orchid. I think that's fine. Sadly, the Moonleaf did not reduce the number of turns that is required for this tech. And if you're wondering how we can get a bonus of plus 50% science and still not be able to run, have it not reduce the number of turns toward our tech, remember that percentage bonuses stack additively, and we are running a lot of bonuses right now. So it's not actually increasing the amount of technology, or the amount of science that we had coming out at the beginning of the turn, before the Moonleaf booster was rerun, was not increased by 50%. It was adding a 50% to all of the other percentage multipliers that we had going, which I did not bother to look at, but obviously was not enough to increase it by enough to matter. Get that guy off the ground, because now I don't have to continue giving him orders. So we got ourselves 10 more pearls. Therat could still use an Abbey of Anomalies, right? Yeah, let's do that. Well, none of these will gain new dust tiles. This one at least has dust on it already. I'll take that. Oh, and we can build an actual burrow. Sure. Yeah, our population and our number of city districts and stuff is really strong. In a lot of ways, this game was a big success for internal economic stuff, but a lot of that had to do with the fact that we actually didn't have to fight anybody at all. This is a very unusual game. It's good to have unusual situations. That's part of the reason that I have so much of the world gen on random, because you want to experience those games that are not the usual situations, so that you are prepared for unusual situations when they occur in the future. And because it's good to have them as like a measuring stick. Now we have some good numbers for what a good rate of dust income looks like, although I will say, somebody said in the comments of a previous episode that they won this game on like turn 84 through a dust victory, and I know that there's some benefit in having, being able to watch me do it first, so that you can see what all of the territory looks like, and then you can make your decisions without having to spend time scouting. You can take the most optimal cities right away. But even so, 84 is very fast. Very, very fast. Alright, yeah, we are right up on it here. I have been Cold Warred by the AI in response to my victory progress. That's good. That's smart. They should be doing that. My suspicion is they will not fight too hard when I try to repiece. You want language square? Here. Would you like some terrible tier 1 text? Oh, he's very amenable as well. He also wants language square. Turns out search party and language square is all you need to make the AI bend to your will. I'm just going to hit end turn here. So obviously our trade routes are all screwed up again for a turn. So we are not probably going to win this turn, making only 20k. But I believe that we should win shortly afterward. And notice, the disruption of our trade routes does have an effect on our tech as well, because we really are getting a lot of science off of those trade routes. I made a big error by not choosing, not really focusing on our trade routes earlier. You make a lot of value out of trade routes, really with anybody, but especially with roving clans. That's definitely where some of that 30 extra turns comes from, is me not focusing on the things that are most optimal for us. But hey, listen, I'm not going to beat myself up too much. Only 184 science per turn right now. That number is going to look a lot better in a second when it recalculates our trade routes. I'm not going to beat myself up too much here, though. We did win on Endless with the community patch active, even if it was in a situation that is easier than usual. I'm gonna take some of that. I'm going to be okay with that. Also, the game really does need to come to an end, because the turns are starting to become an issue. So, while we're waiting, we can take a quick look and see, what about the players who aren't me in blue? How are they all doing on victory progress? Obviously, green's having a rough go of it, down to only 4 regions. Pink's been making a fair number of diplomatic points. Blue's making a lot of money now. We've given the secrets of a functioning economy to Blue. Also, Blue has spiked their science up to over 20,000 per turn, which makes me think that if they were trying at all, they could probably be a lot closer to a science victory than that. This sorta doesn't matter, but again, remember that we are not actually losing any time here, because the AI's definitely not done with their turn yet. Hooray, your city is immune to the winter! By the way, since I'm talking about stories people are telling me about their playthroughs of the game here, I think that stuff's really interesting. I really appreciate everybody who played the save that I posted in the first video of this game, and came and told stories about how that went for them. I really appreciate it, and I hope that we continue to see that stuff in the future, because that's really cool. The magic of the internet. Sometimes it can create community, as well as all of the other things that it does. You know the ones I mean. Just gonna keep building stuff. Okay, we're probably cool. Now, maybe? We're gonna hit Dust-Driven Distillery right on the turn when we no longer need it. Ain't that always the way? So, of course, as this is the last video of a game, please do feel free to leave down in the comments below who you would like us to see, or who you would like to see us play in the next one. I'm thinking a faction that has to interact a little bit more. We've played a lot of the non-interactive ones at this point. Who do we have left? Forgotten, Ali. We still have to figure out a cult victory, that's a task. Unfortunately, there are elements of victory with the cultists that are just not in your control, because a lot of it comes down to whether or not another player decides to wipe you out early. It's a lot harder to build up a buffer of safety with the cult than it is with any of the other factions, due to not being able to expand your territory. Like, if somebody attacks any of your cities, they are attacking all of your cities. We'll get it. We'll do it. I'll figure it out, but it's gonna hurt a lot. There's that. You know what? We haven't actually gotten a Kapaku victory. I know they've been rebalanced a little bit. Oh, and the winter ended on the same turn and everything. So 61k dust per turn now. If we didn't get it right here, it was going to come very, very quickly afterward. I feel pretty alright about that. Let's have a final look at the graphs here. Notice overall score. 1829. That's all it takes to win the game. This feels wasteful to me. Military strength, that is a huge number. Holy crap. Blue has over 1 million military strength. Nearly 2 million. I have 8814, despite the fact that I could not repel, like, if the minor factions tried to rise up and attack us, I'm not sure I could repel that even. Yeah, geez, just blue is really killing it on all of these graphs. This is too many. Don't research this many technologies. Win the game before you get to 64. That's pretty good, though. I like that chart quite a bit. Anyway, that's going to be it for us for today, I think. Thank you all so much for watching, as always. Like I said below, feel free to, if you played the save, leave the story of your game in the comments below. This stuff is fascinating. And your votes on what faction we should play next. Actually, I can just pop into the menu here, where I remember what all the factions look like. So we still have yet Kapaku, Alayi, Forgotten, Wildwalkers, Vaulters, and Draken, and Cultists. We still have a lot left, actually. There's a lot of factions in this game. And they're all cool. They're all fun to play. So, yeah, we'll see you next time for the start of a new game.